Hey guys, and welcome back. In this video I'm going to show the various projects in a bit more details, and then we're going to start looking at the workflow and how we're going to set things up. Now the first one is going to be the rock splash, and we're going to analyze and look at the reference first, and then see how we can recreate the same visuals in Houdini. We're going to run into various problems. We're going to run into tech limitations of when we want to achieve specific things, and we're going to start implementing our own solutions for those problems. Now, a lot of time this is going to happen. You use the solver and the tool set to their maximum capacity, but you still have a specific feature that you can get with a sim. And for those scenarios, we have to implement something custom. We have to create something unique, and we're going to cover that in during this workshop. We're going to cover how to add whatever visual we need to our sims and implement the solution to that. For example, and just to give you an example for the rock splash, you can see here there is wind, there is particle, there is mist drifting from the splash, from the splash, and by default that this doesn't exist in the solver. So we have to create another something custom that will allow us to create the drifting or the wind from those particles. And again, this is a visual that you can get with a solver, and we have to create something custom for it. So this is an example for that. And when you look at a water simulation, you always have to fully understand the various aspects of it, how much water there is in the scene, how much white water there is, how much mist, and all these aspects we're going to try and solve them using various techniques and various solvers. Now this is the rock splash, and then we have the whale scene. So this is the whale, and as you can see, we have a lot of information on the screen here, and this is very, very important whenever you create water sims or any kind of sims, to stamp these information on top, so you can later check them and see, okay, I did this setting does this affects the visual in certain ways. It is also helpful to put the sim time and memory usage. These are very, very important, especially when you start increasing the resolution, going high res. And then the last one is the beach scene, and this is one of the tests comparing Houdini 16.5 whitewater and Houdini 17 whitewater looks, and you can see each one of them has various settings. Now, just to show you how much work that has been put into the various wedges and tests, this one has 4 sims. Okay, this screen has 4 sims. This is not all the wedges for the beach, but some of them. We have 27 files here. Multiply that by 4 because each one has 4. So total 108 wedges, and this is not all of them. And this is very, very common when you want to test a new technique, or when you want to test a specific look, or where you're trying to get the best you can from the solver. You need to do these tests. You need to do wedges, and each one of them, I don't know if there's sim times here, each one of them will take X amount of time. So if each sim takes 5 hours and you do 500 sims, that's 2,500 hours of sim time. Divide that by 24, that's 100 days basically, and it depends on how many workstations you have. If you have 2 or 4, that's just 100 days of machine trying to compute this. And this is very normal. We don't have any shortcuts to this. We don't have any alternatives. You have to explore certain settings and see how they affect the visual of your sim. Now we're going to offer a lot of widgets that will help you understand how these settings works, and give you help you to build the experience needed to quickly tweak settings. And this will become very, very important later when you get a new project and say you have a big crash on the ocean or something like that. You know the best settings to start with, you know the best techniques to solve that problem, and you just start implementing that. And that's very, very important when working in production. Now what I'm going to talk about is it's very important to add these stamps on the wedges and how to organize scene files properly, and we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the another setup that stitches multiple wedges, in this case 4, and we're going to share that with you guys, and hopefully everybody can set this up and use it. And the idea is you basically create the HIP file and then you hit sim, and the sim will go over, create the OpenGL preview of the sim, create an MP4, and add all the information on top, overlaid on top, and then the end result is going to be an MP4 that you can just preview. And then a separate file where you can stitch multiple wedges, so it's easy to compare them side by side instead of having to, memorize how it looks on one screen and then on the other screen. This way you can easily compare the difference. You can see it right away here. For example, the foam pattern is much better in Houdini 17. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's start taking a look at the wedge setup. Thanks.